the next term.
Or even just to get us out of this crisis right now.
Right. I mean, it's like the Republicans are just adrift. They got their tax break, they got their tax bill, but they really have nothing else that's pressing on their agenda. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, I mean, we still see some prominent Republicans have noted in newly direct language the possibility and even the likelihood of defeat for the president. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina said this week that Democrats had a good chance of winning the White House, and he even may be squeezed out of the Senate. And Nebraska Senator Ben Sass, as you mentioned, said the party faces a bloodbath. Though fear of retaliation by Trump has muzzled most of the members of the party, strategists are deeply concerned that Trump might spend the final weeks of his campaign entertaining and energizing his existing supporters by eschewing any concerted effort to find new ones, an approach that could cripple other Republicans running for office. Ken Spain, a Republican strategist, said Trump was not delivering a consistent message at the most critical juncture of the campaign. The president appears to have doubled down on a base election strategy, while Republicans down ballot must figure out a way to appeal to independent voters in states like North Carolina, Maine, and Michigan. But for the president, though, he has definitely these sectors of people in these states that we've seen have been at least in some ways enough to really win. But like, do you think if he just appeals to those bases, like, do you think that's going to be enough?
No, I don't. I mean, I think that his base of support may have grown a little bit. And I think I heard some stories about, some of these swing states where Republicans have registered, thousands of more voters. And on its face, it looked kind of formidable. But on the other side, you can see that the energy is much greater. And there are still so many Democrats who didn't vote in 2016 who probably will vote this time. You can see the voting right now, which has started in so many states, is way ahead of what the 2016 counts were at this time. So I don't think that any of the inroads that they've made on Republicans who are part of Trump's base will offset this huge wave of blue that's coming the other way.
Yeah, so right now we see Trump campaigning in the critical battleground of Nevada. I mean, it's not really a battleground, I guess you could say, but yeah, he's campaigning the crucial battleground, I guess, of Nevada, where early voting begins this weekend. Biden does maintain a pretty steady lead in the state, which Hillary Clinton won by less than 3 percentage points in 2016. According to a Times Siena College poll, Biden leads Trump right now by 6%, 48-42, with 6% of the state's voters saying they remain undecided. But even if Trump is behind in the polls, he did get some encouragement and a blessing from evangelical leaders there. Early Sunday, he actually attended services at the International Church of Las Vegas, where church leaders said she had a prophecy that God would give the president a second wind to carry him through the campaign, and that he will be president again. After that, he went on a fundraiser at Newport Beach, California, and then went at an airport rally in Carson City, speaking about the Biden family criminal enterprise, and the crowd then reprised their chants of "lock him up," again, kind of very similar to the Hillary Clinton campaign. And this is, I think, I mean, it may be a little bit of kind of controversial, and I do kind of question some of the facts on this. But if I think that Trump will have a much easier time painting Biden as kind of a Hillary Clinton 2.0, as kind of a swamp creature, than kind of a Bernie Sanders 2.0 radical leftist style politician there. What is your read on some of what Trump is saying in that rally and his Nevada trip?
Yeah, well, all this stuff that he says about Biden, I just don't think it's sticking. I mean, Hillary Clinton was pretty moderate, and Joe Biden is pretty moderate. But Hillary Clinton was already demonized by the Republican Party, and so that was her problem there. But Joe Biden is pretty much a straight ahead moderate Democrat. I mean, the best that Trump can say is that, he's going to be quote unquote controlled by the liberal left. And I don't know that the public really, cares about that. Even if he was further to the left, I don't think it would matter. There's
Honestly,
just
yeah,
so
I
much
think it could
anti-Trump
be.
sentiment that I don't think it matters.
I think painting him to the left could be a very, very good strategy for Biden. Just based on the kind of attitude that people have and just the promises of action that I think that entails for a lot of people in their minds. But I really think that he could be painted, Biden, as kind of another like deceitful, like corrupt swamp creature, like very, very beholden to these kind of outside interests. Would you say that to be true? Or
I mean, compared to Trump, I mean, that's the height of hypocrisy when you consider what Trump has done during his administration. So I don't even hear him saying.
I'm not saying
I
there
don't
would
even
be
really hear him saying that much that Biden is corrupt. Is that something that he's saying on the campaign trail?
I guess what he's saying with like the comparisons to Hunter and the Ukraine stuff and all that kind of like the Burisma gas company. I've tuned so much of that stuff out for so long. I'm not entirely sure, but I mean, I guess you could say if you're doing it kind of from a much more of, I guess, a left wing perspective, you could say it. But I just think like it was pretty hypocritical. It was just almost just as hypocritical when Trump did it with Hillary Clinton, but it still nonetheless worked. I think very, very efficiently because there was some legitimate material there. Like if you could paint Biden being beholden to like kind of these big corporate interests, it's not necessarily going to convince voters that he's more corrupt than you, but it will kind of convince them that there's not really any fundamental difference, and then that they should stay home in these key areas where people really kind of want change and there wouldn't be enough change. I think that was really what that's what depressed so much turnout for Hillary in those Rust Belt states that I think helped push Trump across the line. But I just really don't. I think it's really much too late, really, for Trump to be doing that to Biden now. And he just lost so much credibility at this point. But I don't think that's even going to work.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's too late.
Yeah. So in Nevada, Democrats continue, though, to gain ground. In 2010, Senator Harry Reid won his hotly contested re-election campaign, even as the party lost battles all over the country. In 2016, Hillary Clinton won the state, though, with a smaller margin of victory than Democrats have garnered over the previous two election contests. Meanwhile, Biden rallies in North Carolina, trying to push Donald Trump out of his state. That he should definitely need to keep in his column. With just over 2 weeks into Election Day, Joe Biden held a drive-in rally in North Carolina on Sunday, that a state that could be crucial to both the presidential contest and battle for control of the Senate. At a high school in Durham, part of the Research Triangle region that's an area of strength for Democrats, supporters cheered him by beeping their car horns as he spoke. It was kind of a drive-in rally there. The event was in the latest in a string of drive-in rallies that Biden has had in battleground states. His campaign has stressed the importance of following health precautions, which has led some people, yes, including me, to agree that maybe he could be passed up by Trump here. But, we are seeing some very, very interesting stuff going on right now. And I do want to take a moment here to go through it before we kind of take a slight gear shift away from the elections vein of things. I do want to give your read on some of these races here. We'll take a tour through some of the most interesting and important races that we see right now. But let's take a look at some of the polls. Let's start with Arizona. What did you read on some of the things that have been going on on with that state? What do you hear about the Senate race there that's going on and Trump's chances overall?
That's the Joni Ernst.
Oh no, Joni. I believe Joni Ernst is Iowa, and Arizona is the astronaut Mark Kelly.
He's way ahead, right? That's like Sally.
Yeah. Statewide, though, Biden's up there by 3. That is just Biden, not unfortunately in the Senate. But that this is again just a brand new poll, and Wisconsin also has Biden up by 5. Do you see the Democrats, like, in terms of what you've been able to see, do you see the Democrats as being able to take the Senate, and where do you think they'll be able to kind of flip their seats from what you've heard?
Well, I mean, that Arizona seat is one, and then the Iowa seat. I think Joni Ernst is in trouble too.
Yeah, and I think that's like kind of like
and then there's both Senate races in Georgia look like they're going to go Democratic as well, and then you have the Maine senator. Forget her name now. I'm blanking out.
Oh, Susan Collins. Yeah, she actually said she would be not backing the Trump Supreme Court pick.
Yeah, well, she's in trouble too. She looks like she's going to lose. There's some Senate races in. There's a Senate race in Alaska. The other senator in Alaska who looks like he's in trouble.
that could be a big surprise. And of course, in South Carolina, you got Lindsey Graham there as well, which is very interesting.
Somehow, I think Lindsey Graham is going to squeak out a win, but it's possible that he could lose. It's possible McConnell could lose, but I doubt it. But it's looking to me like there's enough Democrats to flip the Senate, and that's crucial. That's absolutely crucial.
There really seems that's totally true. There really seems to be such a big amount of opportunities in places where the Democrats could go wrong. Right now, we have an interesting strategy or an interesting report here where we're just going to go through some of the polls there we've seen recently. Kelly up 11 in a YouGov poll. In a kind of somewhat sketchy poll in Colorado, Hickenlooper is up 14 on Cory Gardner when what's said to be pretty sure race. Those two seem to be dead on flips for the Democrats. Really kind of outside shot in Alaska where Gross is up 1. And then another poll has Dan Sullivan up 8. That is from the New York Times. It's a much better poll. Another one where we have John Cornyn and MJ Hagar. Cornyn's up 3. It's going to be very, very tough to flip Texas seats this year. 47-45. Brilliant Corners Research and Strategies in South Carolina has Jamie Harrison up 2 on Lindsey Graham, which is going to be a very, very interesting one to watch there. An A- Emerson College poll has Cal Cunningham up 1. That's again after the affair there. He's been struggling to kind of hold on. Another poll has him up 6. Let's see. We also see Kelly strongly up. Gary Peters in Michigan strongly up. It's another good side for Democrats in that area. And in Maine, Sarah Gideon, the challenger to Susan Collins, would be up 7. But yeah, in Georgia, definitely the toughest race is going to be for, I believe, John Ossoff. Right now, I'm pretty sure Ossoff is favored in that race. I do got to check the statuses there of the Georgia Senate. But yeah, in your prediction, are you feeling pretty confident that the Democrats will take the Senate?
Yeah, I am. I mean, they only have to if they win. If Biden wins, they really need just to flip 3 to make it 50-50.
Yeah,
and that looks very doable.
Yeah,
and it could be a lot more. It could be like 5, 6, 7. It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on the turnout, and from all indications, it's tremendous turnout. And the real shock to me is Georgia. I mean, Trump may just lose Georgia outright.
That would be really something.
And of course, Florida is critical to him. If he loses Florida, he doesn't have much of a pathway to victory.
Yeah,
and
it's
Florida
rated by
is really close, and it's starting to shade toward Biden.
Yeah, I think it's very possible that he does end up winning Florida right now. And according to 538, the toss-up says it is a the forecast says there it's a toss-up. But I do want to pull up the kind of Real Clear Politics because they're kind of just put in the poll, don't kind of fact, because Real Clear Politics doesn't weigh their polls differently. That's the kind of thing for all you election watchers out there.